Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular View.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
New flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel W.
Because there was no Jay White site.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging. This story has been fit. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is you the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly. Let's start the show.
Kara, your friends are in mortal peril, but there is something we can do.
What we thought was an antimatter tsunami turned out to be an ongoing storm without any predictable pattern. Wave home.
Another universe lost.
You think he just happened to be in the neighborhood when your planet blew up?
What do you think?
I was wrong about it all. All living things, in all realities, are about to die.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unpopular Reviews. We are here for Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2. Is it any better than Part 1? Does it make any more sense? Does it actually get a passing grade from anybody? Let's find out, and let's start the show. Yes, we are here for our second installment in our three-part coverage of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And, of course, as you very well know by now, I am contractually obligated to never do this alone. So joining me first is Eyelids Part 2. Welcome back, sir.
Ditto.
So was this one better for you?
Sorry, I just had a rare case of deja vu. No, it was not better at all. It was, in fact, quite the same.
Well, let's find out if the third night trio thought it was any better. Executive consultant, welcome. How are you this fine evening?
I'm doing excellent. It was better than the first one.
So says the executive consultant. But so synopsis.
I'm feeling that deja vu that you said. I don't know.
Well, that's because we're dealing with time, and it's all a bit wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Don't even worry about it; it will pass. Just like this second installment. So here we open up with rejoining our intrepid heroes. One, they find out that it's different than what they expected. It's not just a one-time event. It's constant. And so now there's maintenance that they've got to do. And we also see we come to find our resident psycho, doing a bit of a monologuing and talking to someone, reliving his past, about his troubled childhood. We go through the movie, some stuff happens. It gets worse and worse and worse. But this is what it means to be in the middle. It's a little bit worse for the middle. And, that's where the drama comes in. It's always darkest in that darkest night before that brightest day. Well, who wants to go first to talk about their experience?
So there was a scene where pirate guy was talking to himself and had to relive his childhood. And I had to watch it. So this is what I feel about that, because why would I want to watch it? What about this guy that I've never heard of? You might not understand what that is, but that's how I felt about that whole scene, that whole 10 minutes of me going through his past. For what? It didn't make me feel sympathy for him. It didn't have to tell me. I understand that it's a little bit hypocritical because we said, hey, we should have a background with these people. this person's background made me say, I don't know why you're in this movie. You're a waste of our time. And it's 3 movies, an hour and a half, which is long for a DC animated universe movie. But you're a waste of my time.
Not to mention he disappears.
Yeah, he disappears, and spoiler for Crisis 3. But what this movie should have focused more is the anti-Monitor. What's his motivation instead of just looking like he's if you're a Star Trek Next Generation fan, then B4 comes to mind. I didn't understand what was up with this guy. Yes, anti. What? Supergirl saying, "Hey, you're not my daddy." Moment where she decided to kill the Monitor. Saying who used to go around. I am alive beyond your wisdom and your years, and I can't be touched and I can't be hurt. Well, you never met Supergirl on her eye beams, okay? Because she fricassees your ass, right? And turned Satellite into nothing because Satellite never said a word after that.
I mean,
because Satellite was
let it happen though.
Yeah, he let it happen, right? Why did he let it happen? Because he was sick of working for him for a millennia, right? I would be too, hearing his little drone self. It's no emotion. Reminds me of a certain host. But go ahead.
I meant the Monitor let it happen to himself.
Satellite let it happen too. Satellite ain't say shit. She advocated for Kara the whole time. He said, "Hey, get this person out of my way." He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna put it on a ship. We should feed him. You should sit down with him. I'm gonna go get her again, and find an excuse for her to be, become the harbinger and all this other crap. Oh, but kill my master. Yeah, I got you. Let's do that."
Well, I mean, he did say it's a semi-sentient ship, so I guess that part about preserving him wasn't in the program. So, Eyelids, what do you think about part 2 here?
I wish I had more time to sleep, but look, I think Chris is right. Shout out to Ito from Man of Steel, who told Laura Zor-El, the planet's about to be destroyed when all the volcanoes are erupting. She said, Keto was like, "We got to get out of here," and Laura was like, "There's no escape, Keto." That's what that little android said to the anti-Monitor. He was like, "There's nowhere to go. I'm not going to risk myself and get blown up like you just did to Chris." Shout out to Doctor Strange for being in this movie and dressing in green as a Spectre and getting people to off themselves, getting powerful people to off themselves. He said, "Hey, you've been around for eons and eons. I bet you I can get you to kill yourself. I'm going to appear to you twice, and you're going to believe me the second time because, I don't know. The script says it. And you're going to let this girl fry you." Shout out to that same girl for running into a rapist and a murderer and looking deeply into his eyes, realizing that you're being hypnotized, shaking it off, and then looking back into those same rapist eyes. Shout out to her for seeing people who were clearly ghosts or not real, or I don't know, part of this entity that's destroying everything that you know because you've seen it in real life. But you're running up to them and hugging them, even though they're saying surprise and Freddy Krueger. Shout out to that smart one. Shout out to the people fighting literal shadows and not realizing, hey, instead of throwing knives at it, I should, shine a flashlight. Shout out to that.
It took the world's greatest detective to use a flashlight.
Shout out to that Dr. Light, who clearly isn't a bee. Shout out to that Dr. Light. Shout out to the Green Lantern, who had no other way to create light but to explode his only weapon and thus usefulness in this post-apocalyptic world. Shout out to that kid from Kentucky who wore nothing but ripped denim jeans.
What was Dr. Light's malfunction? Like, why was she so grouchy?
Chris, I've hit a nerve. Well, hold on. Shout out to that kid from Kentucky who wore nothing but denim cutoff jeans and had a pulse gun. Shout out to the gorilla who couldn't hear that same kid get beat up after he called him gorilla N-word. Shout out to him. Oh, shout
This
out
was
to the
Thanos
Bat
was a little
family.
slow.
Shout out to the Bat family, who I could care less about because I have no idea where they're from. Neither can the Batman because he has, quote, no idea where they're from. He's like, I don't know you. Why do you keep following me around? I'm not going to trust you. But they're like, Dad. And he's like, I've never met you. I took you back to the orphanage for a reason. You're a weird kid. I'm not going to let you fight with me. Shout out to
He did hit him with the Thanos line, did he?
Shout out to Wonder Woman, who's lived for millennia and who's supposed to be intelligent. And even though the Monitor says, hey, your people are kind of like psychos, even on your world. And they took over this whole planet. They're not going to be like your people. I know that, but I don't know where the accent's coming from. But I have I don't do Greek. Anyway, I got to go save them. She gets there, and the mother's like, yeah, we locked up all the dudes, and we only keep them to grape them. And she says, but why? And the mother looks at her with the sword in her face, like, because we're Amazons, you idiot. Like, are you with us or not? Like, what's going on? Shout out to that big-ass wave that was coming, and nobody saw it because they were just that angry. Shout out to that anger, because I know I felt that never in my life. Even though my life is in danger and all of reality, I'm just going to keep fighting this random dude because he won't adopt me again, even though it's not who I think it is. Hey, I have a clip.
That was the psycho amplifying their anger.
Rashad, you defended the movie in the last episode. I have a clip. Chris, did you have a chance to upload it? This is how I felt. Now, there was another clip actually, and both come from the same movie. Chris, you'll appreciate this. You remember in Austin Powers, I forget who said it, but it's like, not you, or I don't know which movie it was, but not you.
Austin Powers don't remember. It was Dr. No.
Was it Dr. No? He's like, not you, henchman, who's arbitrarily pulling knobs to make it seem like you're doing something. Like, that's what the people on that space station were doing. Like, they're arbitrarily, you know, in Star Trek where they pretend to be touching the touch panel, the LCARs, but they're not really doing anything. That's what everybody, all those people, the Indian from the future, the green brainiac from the future, Kara Zor-El with the I-beams from the present, all those other people, the totally not a B doctor, Dr. Light, all of them were arbitrarily touching panels to make it seem like they were doing something. But this is what this also reminded me of.
Oh, put the guns down. Is this the first day on the job or something? Look, this is how it goes. You attack me one at a time, and I knock you out with a single punch, okay? Go. Judo, chop.
Oh, he's good.
Judo, chop. Do you know who I am? Have you any idea how many anonymous henchmen I've killed over the years? And look at you, you haven't even got a name tag. You got no chance. Why don't you just fall down? Go on, son. All right, Dr. Evil. Give yourself up while you've still got a chance.
Okay, so for those of you confused, that was a scene where Batman was fighting Terry McGinnis and Tim Drake, and he clearly didn't want to destroy them. So he was giving them a slight judo chop, you know what I mean? And the whole time, the demon shadows are just watching them fight, not doing anything. That was Dr. Evil. And I sat there and I said, what the hell is going on? Who made me watch this movie? When I find out, I'm going to give some judo chops of my own. I don't like wasting my time. Final thoughts, gentlemen. What did you think of this movie?
Perhaps we should take a commercial break.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
And then we'll discuss final thoughts, because he doesn't like wasting his time. Right? That's what he said?
Yeah.
No wasting his time.
Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Unpopular Review.
He's here. I can feel it.
From The Godfather to Scent of a Woman.
What do we got?
From Raging Bull to Goodfellas.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
Their performances have created a legacy of landmark films.
I want full surveillance. That's 24 hours, round the clock. We never close, open 7 days a week.
Now, for the first time, America's two most electrifying actors collide. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro,
Welcome to the Bleed. It's a dimension that exists outside the multiverse. Thankfully hidden from the Anti-Monitor.
Luthor, the top science minds on Earth 10 tell me the Bleed is tearing itself apart.
Oh, God.
I face the hard truth that we're all doomed if we don't destroy this creature.
I called a specialist.
The answer lies before the multiverse even existed.
Constantine, this man is from an Earth that existed before our multiverse.
It's starting reality over. We need a miracle.
All of those worlds, there's something much worse coming.
Let's do this.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's coming up on Unpopular Reviews as we take a sip and come back to Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2, our final thoughts. Oh boy, this was a fun ride, right? Spoiler, no.
For someone, I don't know.
Executive consultant, you want to go first on your final thoughts?
I can. So here's my issue. I think this was better than the first one. I really do. That being said, there were some things that took away the movie for me. And one of which has to be, without a shadow of a doubt, is that pirate guy. He annoyed me. Supergirl, as much as I'm a fan of her character, annoyed me. Lois Lane annoyed me. The Anti-Monitor annoyed me. The Monitor annoyed me. Satellite annoyed me. Mr. Terrific annoyed me. Robin annoyed me. Batman from the future annoyed me. Robin annoyed me. Batgirl annoyed me. Brainy annoyed me. Superman annoyed me. Superman annoyed me. Constantine annoyed me. Wonder Woman annoyed me. Green Lantern annoyed me. Flash annoyed me.
We get the point.
What about Dr. Light?
Dr. Light made me laugh. But realistically speaking, you saw what the movie got.
Yeah.
You were not entertained.
Not at all.
Eyelids, any other final thoughts from you?
Well, listen, perhaps I was too harsh and too quick in my judgment. Let me go over some of the things. The movie opens up listening to therapy sessions of a murderer. Then it culminates with the Monitor being killed. Hey, you know, the Monitor in this movie series is like, you know, when you have to pee, but you dare not move, because if you do move, you're going to pee on yourself, but somebody's in the bathroom for like a really long time, so you just stand there trying to steal your mind. That's what the Monitor did. He has this immense power, clearly, because he could have tanked that blast from Supergirl, but he just chose to die. And while I was watching that scene, I said, you know what? This is crazy. I couldn't help it. But as it happened, I took some screenshots of myself and the movie. And I'd like to share them with the audience right now. So just so you catch up and you know what I'm talking about. This was the Spectre when he told the Monitor to kill himself. This is the Spectre. And he said, now listen, this is the second time I can only tell you twice in my contract. You need to kill yourself to save everybody, you know? So I'm watching like, this can't be real. Like, are you serious? Like, what is this dude doing? He's only met him twice. Like, he's not going to believe him. But sure enough, he let her fry him. And this is how the Monitor looked at the end. He was tore up, ladies and gentlemen. He was not the man he was before. Okay. Woo! But what did I think about this movie? Well, I don't like to argue with people. So, Chris, you're absolutely right. It gets a thumbs down, black inside.
Okay, well, my final thoughts on it. It was very similar to the first in the, I think they were throwing a lot in there with not a whole lot of substance. Again, I could see the vision of why they did that with the Psycho. He was the pivotal point to, bring in the anti-monitor. Could they have done it a little bit better? Probably. But that was the vehicle they used. They added in, okay, this was how we're going to say, oh, this is why it wasn't just a wave. This is why it's keep happening, because it is a consciousness. It is the anti-monitor, and now, it's representing itself as these shadows. I would have expected Batman, whichever Batman, after the first couple of punches, just go through to stop punching, stop throwing batarangs, because he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. He figures out, okay, punches aren't working. Let's try something else. But no, he goes straight back to the physical. I will give him credit. I think it was on purpose when he was fighting. They started to get angry at each other, and he was fighting Batman Beyond, and which I imagine was Dick Grayson. Could have been Jason, but I'm pretty sure it was Dick Grayson. Who knows? And he let himself get hit because I think that's what he figured they would need, because he saw how emotional they got towards him. So it's like, oh, okay, let me just get hit. Let me, get captured by these ghosts, these shadow people, and that's gonna hopefully break them out of whatever is going on with them, so that we can get back to the business at hand. Because I don't think one thing about the character of Batman, he's strong-willed, and I don't believe he was affected by Psycho's ability. So he saw the writing on the wall. And he was okay. This is my play. This is what's going to get them to snap out, and it worked. So I will give a shout out to this Batman for doing that. But ultimately, the movie still left me wanting. I think they still putting it to the bar of the movies that they've done before. They could have done better. I don't know who was writing this, but they could have done better. And yeah, this was also another thumbs down for me. So 3 thumbs down for the second and the first. Will the part 3 do any better?
I'm curious, gentlemen, though, what did you think of Batman's line? He had a great line in this movie. What did you think about it? Did y'all catch that? I don't know if y'all caught that.
No, I didn't catch it. Why don't you enlighten me?
And that same scene that the next doctor is referring to, Batman goes, "There's only one Batman. There's only ever going to be one Batman."
Yeah, I think we got the wrong movie and the wrong name, but okay.
Oh, you're talking about Blade. Oh, because there were multiples of everybody except Batman. So I just assumed that was the same for Batman. He said, "There's only one Batman."
Watch for Crisis 3.
No, thank you. Listen, so he says there's only one Batman. There'll only ever be one Batman. Because every time they talk about, oh, my father or my dad or he adopted me, he said, it's not me. I don't know him. You remember Jonathan Frakes, that Truth or Dare? What is that show? He says, wrong again. You missed it. Not here. That was Batman's lines to this whole movie.
I mean, I never watched that show, but I did watch. I never watched that show, but I did see that clip where
that was Batman. He said, wrong again. Not this time.
So I assume your mother, Selena.
He said, you and my mom, Selena, married. It wasn't me.
He said, which villainess did I get knocked up this time?
You adopted me. And he said, wrong again. I took you back to the orphanage the same night your parents got killed.
That reminds me, at the end of this episode, I do want to talk to y'all about something, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. If it has to do with Aliens 3, the answer is no.
No, but we still need to discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for the next Doctor, For me, eyelids. For Chris, the executive consultant. For you, the tortured audience. We thank you for watching. We salute you. Good night.
Good morning. Good morning.